Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another morning of stamping. My name is Sarah Simon. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Appleton, Wisconsin. And my golden doodle has been not neglected because she's had other people taking care of her all week when I've been really busy, but she does not want to leave my side today. So she's right here and she won't walk away from me. And every time I stop petting her, she takes her nose and she goes, "Come on, keep petting me." So good morning, Julie and Amanda and Lori and Denise and Mary and Linda and Kelly and Angelique. I'm so glad that you are joining me today. We are going to do a creative challenge today. So for those of you who aren't familiar with my creative challenges, I am going to be doing two cards today with the same fun fold. And so you'll get to see two examples, and then you will have 2 weeks this time to be able to make a card using that fun fold, and then putting it on my Facebook page, putting a picture of it on my Facebook page to be entered into a drawing to win the bundle of your choice. So you can pick out any bundle that you want, and I will have it sent right to your house for you so that you can keep stamping. So anyhow, it's kind of a fun way to be able to see what other people do with a fold. And so I like to do these every once in a while. So let's get to Happy Mail. Last week I showed you a really cute card that I got, and I said, I don't remember who I got this from. I knew I had this sitting on my cupboard. I like to take these little notes out and keep them. And it was from Aileen Humphreys. And she was saying that she wanted me to have a good year. She was thanking me for um, the inspiration and things like that. So thank you so much, Aileen. And she also congratulated me on my trip, winning my trip. And she said, too bad it isn't Disney in Japan, LOL. Yeah, right. That would have been fun to go to a different country, but I do have to put a disclaimer in here that less than 1% of demonstrators earn the trip. All right, because all of the cards that I have to share with you that are a Happy Meal are about that. So I received this one. I think Linda was on here. I think I said good morning to Linda. Look at this beautiful congratulations card and look at the fun outside. When I want to cover, I'm going to cover her address. I don't really care about my address, but look at that. Isn't that cute? That was the outside, and then the back had that as well. So thank you so much, Linda. And then my upline Kelly sent me this fun card. And on the inside, it has a bunch of fun things as well. So thank you all for the Happy Mail and for congratulating me. I'm still like over the moon. And then to top it all off, um, I hit $200,000 in career sales this last week. So it's been 2 weeks in a row where I've hit some goals that I set for myself. And I just can't believe that I did it, but it's all because of you. So I have to thank all of you. You are the ones that helped me with all of this. I also have some prizes to give away. Let me get my little post-it note out of the way here. So last week we made this card. Sometimes it's called a barn door card or Dutch door. Sometimes it's called. And then we also did this layout with that cute little Santa and winning these cards for commenting. So anytime you place a comment, hi Tammy, and Dee has jumped on, and I think Kathy, I didn't say hello to you yet. Anytime you make a comment, and Sandy, you get put into a drawing. And so what I do is I just write all the names down. I assign you all a number, and then I do a random number pick, and whoever's number is picked, you win these cards. So it was Donna Deskin, I think, because that's what was in the address. It didn't come up with your actual name, but that was like in the name. So Donna, if you are watching, I don't have your address. So please send me a private message or send me an email, createwithsarahllc@gmail.com, and I will get this off in the mail to you. Hello, Betty and Nancy and Becky. Glad you guys could all join me. And then for Sherry. So if you share the video, whether you put it on your Facebook page, you email it to someone, you send a link to someone, however you share it, make sure that you write shared in one of the comments, kind of like Amanda has up there, liked and shared. And you can do this on Facebook or you can do it in YouTube because I know some of you don't have YouTube accounts. So just go over to Facebook, put the comment there that you shared, and I check all of those places. So receiving a pack of these pecan pie and clear ribbon adhesive back dots. I love these. They're super flat. They're super shiny. They look great on any kind of cards. And with this clear color, you could put them on almost anything. Jeanne Color, you are going to be getting these for sharing last week. So thank you for doing that. And then for placing an order. So I do have let me get this here. I do have a hostess code. I forgot to show it last week because somebody called me and they're like, I can't find your host code. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I usually update it on my blog, which I haven't kept up. I'm sorry, something had to go and that was it. But I will update it on my blog for anyone that goes there. But this is my current host code. So when you place an order in my store and it is under $150, if you use this host code, you get entered into a drawing each week. And if it's over $150, you can still get entered into the drawing. I don't want you to think you can't, but don't put the host code in because you will actually get the benefits rather than me getting them. But receiving this perennial postage, which this is a wonderful greeting set, and this was donated to me by Kay Van Eperen because she accidentally double ordered. And rather than dealing with an exchange, she said, Here, why don't you give it away as a prize? So thank you, Kay, for doing this. Receiving this is Donna Deppner. So Donna, I will get that off in the mail to you this week. All right, those are our prizes. I cleaned my stamp room. Can you tell? Look at the back. Oh, so I joined a group. It's a class that Rhonda Wade puts on every year, and it's a class that helps you to plan and to set goals so that you can try to earn the incentive trip. So next year's Stampin' Up's incentive trip is an Alaskan cruise, which is a bucket list item for me. So if I can get it for free, all expense paid, I'm going to try to earn it. So I'm working my way. And week one, our homework was to clean up our space and get organized. And so the outside right now is really organized, but my cupboards aren't. There's a lot of stuff hidden behind the cupboards. So this weekend, my homework has to be done by Tuesday. So this weekend, I'm going to be cleaning the inside of those cupboards as well. So got lots of work ahead of me. I wanted to let you know that next week, let me get my little graphic here. Next week is World Card Making Day. And I am going to be going live 3 times during the day. Each time I'll be making 4 cards using one bundle. So from 8:30 until 9:30 next Saturday, I'll be doing the Frosted Forest. Now, there are people who have ahead of time, they have purchased these kits so that they have all of the supplies to be able to make them with me. I will not be posting all of the measurements. I might say to you, this is what the measurement is. If I have the little, or I might even put my little post-it note that has all the measurements for you, but I don't have the time in an hour to do 4 cards and be able to do all of that. Then from 10:30 until 11:30, I will be doing the Splendid Autumn. And so I'll be making 4 cards with that. And then from 12:30 until 1:30, I'll be doing the Sentimental Christmas. So in each one, so throughout the day, I'll be making a total of 12 cards that you'll be able to see. All of the videos will be recorded. So if you can't watch them live, you can definitely come back and watch them. Those that are watching them live, there will be a form that you can fill out. There'll be like a little link that you can go to and put in your name to be entered into live drawing. So I'm going to have a little spinning wheel, and I'll put all of the names of people that we're watching live will spin to give away some prizes live that day. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be my normal Saturday morning. We're going to celebrate World Card Making Day, and we're going to have 3 different lives with a total of 12 cards that I will demonstrate for you using 3 different suites. So that's what's on store for next Saturday. So you know what I'm going to be doing next Saturday? Hello, Donna. Looks like you jumped out. Yeah, and you won. Awesome. Anyhow, I think, did I miss anything? I think that's it. I think it's time for us to get stamping. So let me go like this, and we'll go like that, and we'll make that big. And I'm going to turn my overhead light off. I get fewer shadows when I turn that overhead light off. It's amazing how that helps. So anyhow, we are going to be doing our creative challenge today, and I'm going to start with, I'm going to do 2 cards. Actually, I have a bonus item today as well. When I do card kits that people can purchase, I always send a little gift with them. And people always ask me, can you give us the dimensions and how to make that little 3D box? And so I am going to do that today for the one that went with my World Card Making Day kits, so that you have that, because I know I'm not going to have time to do it on World Card Making Day. I also want to say that someone asked me if I could make some religious Christmas cards. I think it might have been Diane Christopherson. I was planning on doing the shepherd one of the first weeks, but then it went out of stock. And so I am planning to use that, not next week, but it'll probably be the week after. So that's definitely going to be a religious card. I love that stamp set. All right. So today we are actually going to be starting with, let me grab my catalog here. This is paper that I absolutely love, the Regal Winter. This paper is just gorgeous. So we're going to be using this paper. We're going to be using the gems that go with it. I just ordered this stamp set. I hadn't had this stamp set because, I have so many floral stamp sets, but I was looking at it and there's some things in there that I really, really like. So I just ended up, when I had some hostess benefits, I ended up using those hostess benefits to get that. So here's the paper live. So you can kind of see what it looks like. These two are very similar. They're just a little bit different in some of the flowers that are in them and some of the sizes of the flowers. This one right here has a little bit more of the blackberry bliss in it. This one has a little bit more of the I don't know, there's just one extra flower in here that has blackberry bliss. All right, and then the back is just very muted, that you can use for just about anything. Oh, look at that. I love this one. We're using this one today. All right. So the layout that we're going to be using and the fold that we're going to be using is going to be using both sides of the DSP. So let me get my cards out here. I'll get you some measurements. Goodness, I have to get organized here. I still feel like I need to find somebody to be my put all these things up for you. So we're going to start with a card base that's 4¼ by 5½. So this doesn't fold. Our DSP is going to be the folding part. So this is Night of Navy. And then you are going to have a piece of designer series paper that measures 5¼ inches by 12 inches. Okay, I'm going to bring my paper trimmer in here. So all you're going to do for trimming is on this 12-inch side, you are just going to score at 2 inches and at 4 inches. Make sure you have that resting right across the top so that your score lines are straight. You could also use the scoring tool as well. I have my scoring tool over there. And honestly, when I make a lot of 3D items, I like to use my scoring tool. Okay, we're going to do something else to this, but I'm going to get you the measurements of everything else that we're using. Then we have a square that's 3 by 3, and that's going to be Night of Navy. And I have a basic white that is 2¾ by 2¾ and I have a piece for my inside that measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Hello, Sue. Glad you could join us. And I'm going to actually get this out of here because I don't think I will need this actually when I do my stamping. All right, let's go ahead. Let's set these other pieces aside for right now. We'll do our stamping second. Let's get our folding. I'm going to get that out of the way for now. We're going to fold this. So what I wanted is I wanted my outside to be this. So I'm actually going to fold this so the blue is my inside. So I'm going to fold in. And anytime I'm using fun folds, I like to use my bone folder all the time. It gives me a nice crisp fold. But I really like to when I'm doing fun folds because everything lays a little bit flatter when you have all these extra folds. Hello, Elsa. All right, so I'm going to fold that in, and then I'm going to fold that back. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of the corners, this piece that's folded over, and I'm going to line this top edge right here up with this side edge. So I'm just basically going to fold the corner over, and I didn't score this at all. I'm trying to do this so that my head's not in the camera. Okay, so I'm going to line that up. When it's lined up, I'm just going to take my bone folder and give that a good crease. I'm going to do that over here as well. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this in and give that a good crease. Same thing down here. Fold that over. When I have it lined up, then I just take my bone folder and crease it. And one more. Fold that over. This is really hard to do with a camera and you not being able to bring this closer to me so it stays in the camera for you. Okay, so that's what our card's going to look like, and it's going to open up like that. Okay, we are actually going to put this on that card base. So this is how when you have designer paper, you need to use your designer paper. So this is just taking 12 by 12 and cutting it at 4 1/4 or 5 1/4, and then doing some folding to make that pretty card. Right, so that's how we're going to get started on that. And then I decided that what I wanted to do, when I saw Diane's comment about wanting a religious Christmas card, at my card buffet this month, I made a card that used this stamp set, and someone's like, I don't remember seeing that stamp set in the catalog at all. And it's actually one that carried over. It's not new this year. It's called Courage and Faith. And we used May the Lord bless you and keep you, because you could use it for anything. You could send it as a get well, you could send it as a sympathy, you could even the trust in the Lord with all your heart. What do you send to somebody who gets a terminal cancer diagnosis, right? Like, get well soon? Well, they're not. You know what I mean? Like, they're going through a really difficult time. So these are perfect greetings for those cards that you don't exactly know, what should I put on the outside of this? Or you could do a praying for you, or be of good courage could go on the inside. There's a lot of different things that you could use this for. And the fact that they're the longer way, and skinny and long, was a perfect one to fit what I wanted to put on here. So I'm going to use Night of Navy ink. And I probably should have used like trust in the Lord with all your heart. I grabbed May the Lord bless you and keep you. So it looks a little bit scrunched. Actually, how about if we change it up? Let's do trust in the Lord with all your heart. I'm gonna put this here. I gotta get a block for it. I know right where they are because they're all organized right now. All right. Oh, you know what? I put some right by my desk, and I forgot I did that for cases like that when I was doing a video and all of a sudden needed one. Okay, I want to make sure I have this straight. Then I'll show you the other one that I did, and then a Night of Navy ink. Kathy said it's one of her favorite sets too, right? Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And it's just going to, let me stand up so I can get this straight. It's just going to go right in the center there. Oh, look at that. All right, then I am going to take one of the floral images. Now, when these have, like these two can go on either side of each other, and those two, I took this smaller one. I had that bigger greeting and it barely fit. So that's why I ended up with the smaller one. But I think this is going to look even less like it's scrunched on the square. And I'm using Memento ink because I'm going to color this in. So there's one. And then let me get my blends out of here. Here's going to be the second one. Went into the words a little bit, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. All right. I'm going to pull out some of the colors. So I looked on the back of the DSP and it told me that the green that was in there was one of them was shaded spruce. So I'm using the lighter of the two shaded spruce rather than doing as much blending. And I'm just going to color in this greenery in the shaded spruce. There was also old olive in there. So if you're a person that loves old olive and not something as bright, but something a little more muted or more earthy tone, I guess it would be, you could do the old olive as well. I think both would look good with this. And they also have like a little, it's just a bunch of dots. And I thought about just, and actually I did, I like colored a whole bunch of different ones just to see what I liked. I actually, I'm not gonna lie, I only had one card done as of this morning. And like I said, it was a really busy week. Every night I had parent teacher conferences one night. I had to do the scorebook for volleyball one night. So there was something going on almost every night. And so, and then one night I ended up cleaning my stamp room. So there was a lot going on. So I finally, Thursday after volleyball, I made one of the cards and I still had one to make, but I knew what design I was using because I came up with that. So there's our image all colored. All right. And then, this is what I came up with this morning for this one. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to layer this on our night of navy. Do that just like that. And then we only want this to be attached to one half of our card. We don't want it to be attached on this side. So I'm just going to put glue along there and along there. And then center up the tips and try to make sure that I have an even amount and that my little tip here doesn't go over the side of my card. And then press that down. Okay. Then we have the inside of our card. I'm actually going to stamp. Just thought of it. I could do that be of good courage on the inside too, or I could stamp one of the other greetings if I wanted to. Oh, thank you, Sue. Hi, Sarah. Good morning. And Joan. I missed some of you jumping on. I'm just going to put this kind of down in the corner here, and we'll color that. Completely forgot that when I had my color, my blends out. The color that I put on those little berries was Blackberry Bliss. I don't know if I said that. Because Blackberry Bliss, the paper that I picked is the one that has that as the added color of floral color that's not in the other one. Da, 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 da. I love coloring. Just I feel like sometimes I should have it done before you have, so you don't have to watch me, but let's see here. We'll go ahead. And I love coloring with our blends too. They make you look like you're a professional artist or something. All right, and then I'm going to pop that on the inside. And like I said, if you wanted to, if you were doing it as a thinking of you, if you wanted to do that or that be of good courage, you could put that in there as well. This is just going to go on the inside so I have a place to write something. And then in that suite of products with this Regal Winter, we also have these Regal Floral foiled dots. And so I'm just going to take 2 of the Blackberry Bliss ones. There's also a blue one, so if you prefer the blue, and I'm just going to put them in each of the corners because I felt like the only place where I really had white was there. I am going to add something to the top, so just hang tight on that. We have, and this is currently out of stock. It should be coming in soon, but this is the Natural Tones linen thread, which I love this because I love our linen thread. Don't get me wrong, I like baker's twine as well, but our linen thread is just a little bit thinner, and it's much. It doesn't make as big of a, like when you go to send something, it's not as bulky of a thing on your card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, there's navy in there. So I'm going to use my bow maker here because I'm going to do a double bow by wrapping this around here twice. Now I found this online. My friend Kathy, I don't know if Kathy's on here today or not. She's probably working. But Kathy's husband makes these and he is out of them right now, but he's going to be making some more. And so I know I have one person already who is waiting for one of these. But hers is a little bit different. It has 2 nail pegs here, and it's a wooden block like that. But I found this one online because I didn't know at the time that Kathy's husband made them, or maybe he didn't at that time that I got mine. I have a couple of them. I might make this a little bit smaller. I'm using my bone folder and curling it like you curl ribbon on a package when you're wrapping a gift. And I love how this like just adds, I love this little double bow and how it just adds that. And we're just going to put that right up on top. So I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm just going to kind of roll this up and stick it where I want the knot to be. And then I'm going to take that knot and I'm going to press it right inside of that glue dot to hold it in place. There we go. All right, so there is our first card. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And it opens up like that so that you can write a nice greeting on the inside. The bow maker, Amanda. Yes, yes. I will write your name down as well. I know who the other person is too. So yes, I can definitely do that. Okay, so there's the one that we just made. Here's the one that I made with May the Lord bless you and keep you. Very similar, but it's just a little bit wider, the greeting is. And on our card, let's do this. You can watch me color again. Now, because I used so much designer paper here, to use another 6 inches by 2 1/4 would be having to use a lot of extra paper. So in a case like this, I'm probably just going to take one of these. Whoa. I'll have to clean that up later. I've got a little bit of ink came on there. I'm just going to, in the corner here, stamp that. And then just going to take a Post-it note because I have one handy. Thanks, Nancy. How far are the pegs for the bow? I might try a regular bow maker that is round. How far apart are the bows? Let's look. Looks like they're a 1/2 inch apart. Yeah. So that's a 1/2 inch and then an inch and then an inch and a half. So they're about a 1/2 inch apart. And then just set, you can make however far apart you make it, makes your loops just a little bit bigger or smaller. I'm going to just stick this in here so that my ink doesn't bleed through to the back of my envelope. So that's why I'm putting that in there. And I'll bring my blends. I just want to make sure that the paper's where I want it. Nope, it's not all the way down. I can kind of see the shadow of it. Oh, thanks, Donna. Okay. Usually I just put typing paper in there. That should work. And I'm going to go ahead and color each of these just to add a little bit of fun to the front of my card. So the party begins when they get the envelope and they're like, oh my goodness, look at this beautiful envelope. And then they open up inside and they're like, oh, and the card is just as gorgeous, right? That's how I am when I get all of your mail that you send to me. I so appreciate it. It's like I look at it and I'm like, oh, this is gorgeous just on the outside of the envelope. And then you open up and it's like, and it's even more gorgeous in the inside. All right, so we'll add a little bit more of the little dots here. We'll color those in. And just like that, we have a matching envelope for the card that we just made. Now I got to take this out. See, now it didn't go through on the back. Otherwise, you have a tendency, it can bleed through. So especially on some of the darker colors. So there is the card that we just made. Card number 1, complete. All right, let me get this out of the way. I'm going to keep some of this stuff nearby so that I don't have to keep reaching over, but I'm going to get I'm going to set this on my counter so I can put it away so I don't have as much. I should show you, I should post my before pictures and my after pictures of my stamp room because holy cow, what a difference. I didn't realize how like out of control I had gotten because I had my team meeting, then I had my card buffet, then I had my lives in between that I was trying to cut for and stuff. So it was it just got way, way, way out of control. All right. The next card is going to feature the designer series paper. I used this fun, this side the other day or a couple of weeks ago, but I thought fall is my favorite time of year. So I wanted to make a fall card as well. And this could really be used as a Thanksgiving card if you wanted to. But the papers in here, we have our little animals that I've seen people punch these out and just use them on the front of a card. We have our leaves on the back. This is the pattern we're going to be using today. And the treat box that I'm going to make is going to be using this as well. Thank you guys all for the comments. And then it has this on the back. And then the last pattern is, this is part of our scrapbooking line that they added. This has some old olive and some Cajun craze. So this is an online exclusive and it just became available. I think it was 2 weeks ago that it started. So I love that you get more sheets of paper. So if you're doing something like this, the reason I pulled out this pack to make something, hi Mary, to make something that uses so much is because I have so much of this that if I want to make these as my Thanksgiving cards, I think I get 4. Let me think here. No, this one I get 6 of each one. Is that right? 6 times, no, I get 4 of each one. I get 4 of each of the designs. So yeah, the Halloween one, you end up getting 3 of each piece. In this one, you end up getting 4 of each piece. All right. So in this one, I had to make sure if I wanted these to look like, I mean, you could put them this way and they could be like just little triangles. I think they're supposed to look like they're almost trees. So I did them this way. This again, for those of you, I can put these measurements up here again for you. Let's see here. My card base, let's start with that, is petal pink. And this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then my designer paper again is 5 1/4 by 12. And again, we're going to score this at 2 and 4 from each end. And we'll do that in just a minute. We have a 3x3 piece, and I did mine in petal pink again, because that's what this color is in there. And it's also the color that's the line in this, it's not really plaid, but checked graph. It almost looks like graph paper. And then I had Very Vanilla that, oh, I'm sorry, Pecan Pie that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then Very Vanilla is my inside, and that's 3 3/4 by 5. And then I have a 3/4 inch strip that I'm going to be stamping my greeting on. And this is early espresso because that's what the color is in the background. And of course, we're going to be doing some embossing on this in gold. Oh, right. I love embossing dark colors like this in gold for autumn. All right, so let's start by scoring our designer paper so that you can see me do this again. So I'm going to bring my trimmer back in here, and I'm going to score at 2. That's how easy it is. Just score at 2, score at 4, flip the paper over to the other side and do the exact same thing. Score at 2 and score at 4. Okay, if you have it on your scoring board, you could do it at 2, 4, 8, and 10 is basically what it is. 2, 4, 8, and 10. All right. Whoops, sorry, Lila. I didn't mean to scare you. All of a sudden she jumped. I don't know if I scared her or what. I'm going to get this out of the way for right now. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to use this as our inside. So I'm going to put this the right way. I'm going to go ahead and fold this in and burnish. And then we're going to fold it back and burnish that good, and then fold it in again and fold it back. Okay, then we have to take our corners, and I'm just going to line up the top with where that crease is. Just going to fold it over. And again, if I could get my head in here a little bit more or pull this closer to me, it would make it a lot easier, but I don't want you to see my head, so I'm doing my best to keep it out of the camera. Okay, that's going to go there, and then we're going to do the same thing here. Fold that over. And again, once I have it lined up, then I take my bone folder and make that crease. So don't try to press it really hard until you have it right in place where you want it. So that way I have that lined up, and then I'm going to crease it. Okay, so there is the outside of my card, and then this is going to go like that. And then we are going to have our pecan pie over the top of it. All right, so I can go ahead and add these right away because I'm not stamping on any of this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. Whoops, went all the way to the end there. So again, I'm lining up the top and the bottom. Oh, I don't have it added to my petal pink layer yet. Let's do that. Add this. I'm like, why is it hanging over the edge so much? Because this has to get added to our base. Then it'll be going right up to the base. See what I mean? That petal pink will go right up to the base. And now we can open this up. Looks like I have a little bit too much glue here. Take my adhesive remover, get rid of that. Oh, and I put the trees on upside down. That's okay. Let's do this. I should have looked at that first. I can pull this off yet. There we go. Make sure I got this on the right side. There we go. Check your pattern if it's a directional pattern. Was anybody yelling at me going, you have that upside down? Yeah, that pink and brown combination, right? I was like, what color is that in there? And I was going to do the very vanilla, and I'm like, I think that that's petal pink in there. So that is what I ended up using for the card base. All right, and then I looked at the colors that were, I still have a little bit of adhesive now. When I flipped it on this side, I had a little bit more. There we go. Good thing for little tools like this that can get rid of this. I just get this at Amazon. I ordered on Amazon. All right. Uh, I went ahead and I looked at some of the colors that were in here, and we had Cajun Craze and Mossy Meadow, and we had Crushed Curry. And so what I did was I used I think I have it here somewhere. I pulled out this bundle of autumn leaves, and look at these fun trees. So we've got a couple of oak leaves and maple leaves that you can cut out. And so I ended up taking some of those colors, and through the magic of TV, I have these already cut. So you didn't have to watch me do that. But I have a crushed curry, a mossy meadow, and a Cajun craze leaf that we're going to be putting on the front of that. And then I used one of the greetings from there. So there were a lot of different greetings about autumn, but I used with a grateful heart because Thanksgiving is all about giving thanks, right? Giving thanks to people. So I thought that this could be a great way to be able to send a Thanksgiving, put Happy Thanksgiving on the inside of it and have that as my greeting on the outside. And it looks very fall like. So I have a strip of the um, early espresso, and I'm going to bring in my Versamark, and I've got that greeting here. I don't know how I got that little bit of green in my Versamark, but it's not going to hurt anything. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp this in the Versamark. Oh, and I had my little embossing buddy here, right here. Forgot to use it. It is a good idea, especially I find with darker colors, to make sure you go over that. Don't don't brush too hard that you get all the white powder that you can see it on there, but just dust it kind of over lightly to get rid of any fingerprints and stuff like that, so that when you put your powder on, it just sticks to your greeting. And see, I should have used my embossing buddy. Let's do that. Let's do this over. Let's do this. I'm gonna do this in my garbage can here. I'm gonna take all of that off. See, I just went in my garbage can and I brushed it off. Let's show the difference when you use the embossing buddy. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna lightly rub this over the top of the paper. And what it does is it takes off any of the oils that were in your hands or any of that kind of stuff that the powder could stick to. It just removes all of that, so that now the only thing that is going to be sticky on here is that Versamark ink. So you can buy this. It comes together in a little container to dump your embossing powder in, as well as a little tweezers that you can hold it for when you're using your heat tool. And I usually have a little spoon in here, and I don't know where it went, but see how much better that is? So before I had the powder all over. Now I just have it right on where the Versamark ink is. And I'm going to close this up because I don't want that all over the place. I just bought these at Meijer. I have one for each of my different, and this is 2 of the embossing powders, 2 containers of it in there. I liked it because it had the little suction cups to really keep it closed. Now, through the magic of TV, I didn't want you to have to listen to my heat tool. I actually have that heated up already. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my paper snips and I'm just going to cut on an angle on either side. And then I was looking for something to put on the inside of my card. And as part of those online exclusives, we have the stamp set that came out. Autumn to Remember. Oh, Dollar Tree has the eraser for $1.25. Thank you, Lori, for sharing that with everybody. And this maple leaf right here, I thought was the perfect size. Now there is a leaf. If you have the autumn leaves already, you don't have to go and buy another set. There is a leaf right here that you could use. This one was just, this one's about half the size of that one. And I just wanted something really little down in the corner. And so since I had the stamp set, I ended up just pulling that out. But you could use anything that you wanted to. You could put a little bit strip of the paper on the inside if you wanted to, but I just grabbed some pecan pie ink and added that one little leaf. And while I have that out, that's what I'm going to add to the front of the envelope as well. You could also put like a whole bunch of leaves on the back, however you want to do that. All right, so we are ready to put the rest of the card together. Let's put the envelope over here. Bring our leaves and our thing in here. Let's put this on the inside right away. Okay, and then I'm just going to use glue dots for my leaves. And I'm just going to place them about center on here. So I'm going to do a yellow one and a green one on either side, like so. And then I'm going to put this in the middle. And I'm not raising these up because I'm going to take that greeting and I'm going to raise that up over the top of them. And I didn't want too many layers kind of going up. So this is going to go here on dimensionals. And then to cover up the fact that we don't have all of these necessarily coming together, let's put these up on dimensionals right away. We have our gold trim. Now this is on back order right now. Like I said, I like to use things that are actually in stock. So I apologize that I used something, but I thought it worked perfect with this card. This comes in a dual pack of gold and silver trim. And again, I'm going to bring my bow maker in here. The reason I'm using my bow maker instead of just doing one myself, this has like solid gold on one side, and then it's kind of like gold with some white in the middle on the other side. So I wanted the solid gold to be on the outside of the loops. For some reason, when I make my bows, one loop ends up being solid gold and the other one ends up being white, and I struggle with it. So this is when my bow maker is wonderful. And now all I have to do is kind of like twist these so that the gold is showing like that. And I have a beautiful bow. And I'm going to use again a glue dot on the knot. I might have actually put these in. Let me see here if I can move this one a little bit. It did kind of move it a little bit on the side like that. So they did come together a little bit more. Put that bow up there. And what a beautiful Thanksgiving card that would be, right? With a grateful heart. And you could put Happy Thanksgiving. I was going to put this, but it was a little bit big, Bountiful Blessings. That also just fit across here because I did look at it. I did also stamp this in the brown and with the gold, and I cut around it. It was just a little bit too big for this area, so that's why I went with the Grateful Heart. So there's a lot of different things that you could do. If you had a Happy Thanksgiving, you could put the Happy Thanksgiving there. But what a nice way to use up some of your designer paper, especially when you have that designer paper, you have that one that's like, I don't want to cut this because I love what's on both sides of it. The Christmas one with the gold would be a perfect example of like it has all that gold in it on one side and it's plain on the other side. Oh, what a nice way to be able to use both sides of it, right? So that is our challenge, our fun fold challenge. So if you make a card, you have 2 weeks to do this. So it will not be until the 12th of October that you have to have the card made and posted. Now, if you are not on Facebook and you want to get involved, you can email it to me. You can just, it's create with Sarah LLC at gmail.com. So you can email it to me and I will post it for you if you're not on Facebook. So there is that card. Now, bonus gift, little box that uses the same DSP for a little treat box. So if those were your cards for Thanksgiving, how about if we make a little box that we could put at the table, at the dinner table? So I do not have, I might have to, you might, if you want to be patient, I will go ahead. I did all of a sudden at the last minute, about 10 minutes before I was ready to go live, I was like, you know what? I should make that box today. So I don't have the dimensions typed in here, but let me quickly, if you can give me a second, I will go ahead and create a banner that has them in. So let me typing. So and I have my dimensions right here. So you're seeing the dimensions. I'm going to just go ahead and type them in here so that I can post them up here so you can take a screenshot of it. 4 3/4, 6. See, sometimes I just fly by the seat of my pants. That's kind of today. Okay, I got it done. Here's my banner. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. We'll show it. All right, so we have, let me get some of this stuff out of here. We have a piece of this, again, is our petal pink, and this measures 6.5 by 11 inches. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my trimmer and I am going to score. So this is my shorter side, right? So on this shorter side, that means that I have the shorter side up along the top. I'm going to score at 1 3/4 inches from each end. So 1 3/4 and 1 3/4 again. Okay, then on the long side, so this is the longer side, so that's what I'm going to have across the top. And bring my little arm out here. I'm going to score it at 1 3/4. That's there. And 4 3/4. And 6.5, which is right there. And 9.5. All right, so that's all the scoring that I have to do. And now we're going to do a little bit of cutting to make this into a little box. All right, so one side, this right here, is shorter than this side right here. So this one is, I think this is the 1 3/4 inch side, and this one ends up being 9.5. This is 1.5 because this is 11 inches. So this is right here is going to be the top part, the cover part of my box. So your shorter end is going to be the cover. All right, let me, I gotta get some of this stuff. I'll set over here. All right, so how we are going to cut this, the part that's going to be the cover, so that's this shorter end, what I have to do is I'm going to cut up and I'm going to cut the square on either end right off, or it's not really a square, it's a rectangle. I'm going to cut that completely off. And that's going to create a flap for the cover of this box. Okay, so there is my flap. And I'm actually going to, with your score line, there's kind of like an inside of the score line and an outside of the score line because the score line's a little bit deeper. You want to make sure you don't have any of the score line showing. Okay, then I'm going to bring it on the side and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut up the side on one side of the box. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, that creates these two little tabs that are, or two tabs on either side. These I always like to, Julie DiMatteo always calls it's like a little miter cut. So what you're going to do is you're basically just going to take a little bit, because we're going to be folding these in. We just want to cut a little smidgen, kind of like in the shape of a triangle, off of it so that it lays a little bit nicer when we create our box. So I'm just gonna cut a little bit of this off. So those of you that purchased my card making kit, these are the little gift boxes. So if you haven't gotten yours yet, you're not going to be surprised anymore. But this gives you the directions. So you will have one that you can look at, and this will give you the directions of how you can actually make that. All right, and one more. All right. I'm also going to be tucking these ends in. So I really want this one that's closest to the cover. I want those to also be cut. So I'm giving that one actually a pretty good size trim off so that they tuck in very nicely. Okay. I also found it a little bit helpful. No, I didn't do any of that on that one. Okay. But I'm trying to remember what I did here. All right. Now, making boxes, you definitely want to have like a bone folder, or you want to have one of those um, Pampered Chef scrapers that they send with their stones. You want to make sure that you give all of these score lines a really good burnish. Now, you could do this if you wanted to before you did your cutting so that you could see your score lines a little bit better, or you can do it, I'm just doing it after, so it doesn't really matter one way or another. I'm just folding them all in towards the center of the box. All right, and then go here. Okay. The only advantage you would have to scoring it before is you don't have all these little tabs. Everything would be straight lines. Okay, again, this is going to be my cover. Now, before I end up putting my box together, I'm going to add my designer paper only because it's easier to press it down when I have it flat than when it's a box. So I again used this. So this is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Let me quickly type that up there for you. Sorry, I don't, 2 3/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches. That way, I can show you that. There we go. So this is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Now, you either have to make sure you have your glue all on all the sides and not just like a little bit in the corner, because sometimes it'll pull up when you go to close it. Or you could use liquid glue so that it fills it a little bit more. But that's going to be that one. I used the coordinating pattern. Let me give you this dimension. It was 2 3/4. Can you tell I made a couple of these? I remember the dimensions. The smaller piece is 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. And I decided I was going to use the other side down here. I just have to look. Yeah, that's right. Okay. All of a sudden I was panicked. I'm like, the ribbon has to go somewhere. Hello, Carol. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our box together. So on these tabs, I like to use tear and tape when I make boxes. But if you prefer liquid glue because you like to have the wiggle room, go ahead and use that. But I'm putting it right along the base part of these tabs. And I don't know if you would need more than, I mean, this is what I did and the person who I got the box from, and I should know who that is. It wasn't Julie DiMatteo because that's who I usually get boxes. Oh, you know who it was? I got a box from Rhonda Wade and a kit that I purchased from, or I purchased a kit from her. She sent it filled with Hershey Kisses, no, Hershey Hugs, and she used, let me see if I even have, I pulled it apart so I could get the dimensions. So I don't think I even have it again. But it was that little Hearts and Hugs stamp set that she used, and she used the little I think it was like a little hamster or something, and it said something about giving hugs, and she had hugs in it. And this is where she had all of her glue. So these are on the outside sort of part, and then on this flap that's opposite where the cover is, I'm going to put these on the inside, and she did those this way. So I basically just took a box apart that she had sent to get the dimensions and figure out how to make it. And I ate the Hershey Hugs. All right. So that's how you do that. So now I'm going to I just ended up taking everything off and was just very careful that I did not put something on or set something on there before I needed it to be on there. You know what I mean? So I'm going to take these off. Some people are like, oh, I wouldn't be able to take those off because with my luck, the tape would stick and not where I wanted it to be. Okay, so this side right here, this scored edge is going to line up with this cut edge, and this scored edge is going to line up with that cut edge, so that we go like so, and we go like so to make it a box. But you want to line those edges up so you have a square corner. All right, then we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to line that up. I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to line that up and give it a good press. And voila, we have a box. Okay, I tucked these. That's why I cut those on such an angle so that they would go ahead and stick right in there. I was at Meijer the other day looking for something to go in these boxes, and I found these kisses that had little leaves and stuff on. And so I thought, perfect, we're going to go ahead. Now I don't have quite enough to fill this. I don't have enough left because I filled my boxes a little bit fuller than that. Okay, what I'm going to do to keep this closed is I'm going to tie a ribbon. And this is our petal pink. This comes in a dual pack with petal pink and white. And it has like the striped on here, which is beautiful. And I'm at the end of a roll, so I'm just going to use what's left here. And I'm going to tie this. Now, I'm not securing it. You could, if you wanted to, you could put like a piece of tape here. I have this stamped already because I had an extra one. I'm actually going to cover that ribbon with this, and I'm going to put that on dimensionals. So those dimensionals are going to hold that ribbon in place for me. But if you feel more comfortable, you could also put like a little piece of Scotch tape there to hold the ribbon in place. But I'm just going to go ahead, and you could tie it in a bow or you could tie it in a knot. I'm going to attempt a bow on live camera. We'll see how that goes. I did tie all of mine in a bow, but I thought these would be really cute little Christmas stocking stuffers too, if you did some Christmas paper, or even if you did some of the winter paper with the little snowmen and those little penguins or the little reindeer. Make that little reindeer head, punch that out, or not punch, die cut that out and put that. Too bad. All right. Then these little trees that kind of match that are coming from that Autumn to Remember. They're right down here. So I just stamped that. This is just crumb cake, and I stamped it in our pecan pie. And I'm just going to, oops, I think I have some Stampin' Dimensionals here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put those so they're on either side of my ribbon so I don't mess that up. I want them on both sides of the ribbon. And then I'm going to, on here, put it right out to the edge. Probably more dimensionals than you need, but they're not, this isn't going to go anywhere. All right. And let's take that one off too. Okay, those are all done. Whoops. All right, so there's that. And then from our throughout the years stamp set, and I don't think I grabbed that one. I thought I had all the stamp sets that I used out here, but I kind of decided to do this last minute. I stamped here it is. I stamped a thank you on our, this is petal pink with pecan pie. And I ended up just putting this on with some adhesive. Right. And there is our cute little treat box, just like that. It went together and it matches. Well, you could put leaves on there. I mean, if you wanted to put the leaves and match it completely, I wasn't making it to match. I was thanking my customers for purchasing the kit for me. And so I have this cute little box that I'm sending as a thank you to go along with all of the cards that they purchased in that kit and stamp sets and whatever else they purchased. So that is the dimensions of that box. So if you ordered any of the World Card Making Day kits, and you got this little box in with your stuff, now you know how you can make it. For those of you that didn't get the kit, you don't have the sample, but you can come back and watch the video to be able to see. So you could, I was thinking of making some Christmas ones, like I said, with those little penguins and that little, because you could just punch out the paper with the penguin in it, or punch out the paper that has the snowman, and wouldn't have to do a whole lot of stamping, and could just let the paper do some of the work. So cute little box. You could put like Dove chocolates in there. You could put anything really inside the box. And then here was our other card. And again, this layout is our creative challenge. You'll have until the 12th of October if you want to participate in that. And that, I think, let me go ahead and change my camera. I'll come back to you. Here we go. Here I am. I look really washed out because I have all these lights on and the other light off. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm glad I added this little, all of a sudden I thought of it right away before I was ready to go live. I'm like, you know what? I think I have one of those extra circles. It's just a 2 3/8 inch circle. I have that already done. So I could go ahead and demonstrate that today. So I'm glad that I thought of it at the last minute. So I hope that you enjoyed that. So again, next week, World Card Making Day will be a little bit different. I'll be here more. 8:30 till 9:30 will be the Frosted Forest. We'll do 4 cards. I'll do less talking and sharing and all of that kind of stuff, and just basically get to the card making and get to the prizes. And then 10:30 to 11:30 will be Splendid Autumn, and 12:30 till 1:30 will be Sentimental Christmas. I gave myself an hour in between each one of them because I don't know for sure if I'll finish right in an hour. But my plan is to try to finish right in an hour. Okay. So I think that's it. I hope that this inspires you to go out and be part of the creative challenge and try that layout or try that fun fold. Use some of your designer series paper up. And if I draw your name, you would win the stamps or the bundle of your choice. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you can find some time to be creative today. And I will see you next Saturday for World Card Making Day beginning at 8:30. Thanks so much and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.